good, people? I am GALANACCI the Creator, a Manila-born, Cardiff-trained, London-raised artist, designer, creator, and I am the founder of GALANACCI, a luxury human wear brand pioneering self-discovery and greatness. Alright, so it is Friday today, February 23rd. So yeah, this week we've just been focusing on marketing strategy for GALANACCI. Obviously, being a independent brand owner, you're gonna have to manage your time, and then one of those aspects would be fitting in marketing strategy. Just like this GALANACCI diaries that I'm doing, I have to find a time and to film, edit, post, and chop up the content, and then obviously schedule the posts throughout the week. And the thing about that is you will need structure and also discipline, because you need to prioritize your time. So when you'll film these content, when you'll edit, and then when you'll then post, schedule, and whatnot, create the copyright for each of the posts. It's just there's a whole process and stages for each. So it's really good to know what you're going to be posting, especially for each day. So for GALANACCI, I have like 5 topics that I try to hit, and that includes like brand values, that includes promotional posts, that includes sharing design philosophies, and what else is there? Behind the scenes reels, videos, just those bits, And then of course we have the Keys to Greatness blog, so the weekly blog posts that we have on the GALANACCI website, and then of course the GALANACCI diaries, as I previously mentioned. That's all part of like the marketing strategy of GALANACCI. It's more about focusing on giving out value, because what I kind of sort of realized with luxury streetwear, or even just streetwear in general, they don't really provide value outside of clothing, outside of the products that they give out. But with GALANACCI, our product ranges at the moment is very minimal, because we're starting with whatever we have, and that's just like the nature of it. So to counteract that, we provide as much value as possible. So that's through the Keys to Greatness blog, posting weekly blogs every single week for the past maybe half a year. Yeah, since like last August, we've been posting weekly blogs on the website. Just go to the K2G blog, Keys to Greatness. You'll see everything there. It covers a whole bunch of topics, from design philosophies, brand values, branding, brand building, just everything, and even just philosophical thinking, sharing the GALANACCI way of thinking and all of that. And also, we started the GALANACCI diaries this year, so this is the 7th episode. So we would drop an episode every week, just covering what we've done the past week for each of those episodes, sharing the same things with like brand values, design philosophies, and just perspective, sharing our perspective and experiences of building a luxury human wear brand. So those are the values that we're giving out for free, like you don't need to buy anything to receive the value that we put out. And that's one of the integrations and what luxury human wear has. So that's what separates it from luxury streetwear or streetwear in general. So luxury human wear is about giving out value, providing value, like a lot of value, outside of just having products, selling products and whatnot. But yeah, man, it's always about giving, instead of always, taking. And we live in a world where a lot of people, a lot of companies, businesses, all they do is take. Not many actually give before they ask to take, And that's one of those things that I heavily focus on with GALANACCI. And just across the board of whatever I do. But yeah, man, this week also we've been tripling down on cross-pollination within like the social media platforms. So for GALANACCI, we're heavy on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Don't forget YouTube Shorts, man. And also starting to push towards LinkedIn since we started this whole GALANACCI Diaries. So I've been taking clips, posting bits that is relevant to the platform. You have to always think about the nature of these platforms. So for Instagram, it's more of the, polished type of videos, sort of professional looking. So you try to match that look with the platform. But then with TikTok, it's more of the, it's rough, like, what do you call it? More DIY approach. So you try to match that. So that you try to match what you're posting with the relevant platforms as much as you can, instead of just like reposting in each of the platforms. So you have to be strategic in what you post throughout these platforms, especially like with LinkedIn. That's more for like professional corporate eyes, That's why you have to really create a marketing strategy for each of the platforms. But for now, we're just starting off really tripling down on these platforms. I mean, I've been posting for some years now, or a year of posting consistently, especially with the 365 series. But now it's more of instead of showing, it's more of like showing and telling in a more verbal approach and visual approach. Other than that, we also focused on some product developments, really. So I've been in talks with a potential collaboration. Not going to drop any details, but some of you would have seen it on my private stories, close friend stories, about this particular thing that I'm working on and polishing. We have more details to come once like the details about that is ironed out. Obviously, when you're working with a limited budget, you have to be very strategic with where you place your money and what product you develop and whatnot. And this is just one of them cases. So yeah. And also this week, I've been actually experimenting on materials. So I like to make homemade juices, and then with the juicer, you put in like the fruits, vegetables, and you extract the juice, but then also it leaves out like organic matter, like like food waste, basically organic food waste. And then whilst I was just like cleaning that out, I'm like, it's very mushy, right? So it's like sort of shredded into fine bits. I was like, wow, this is actually very mushy and like malleable. Maybe I could like turn this into some sort of material, And obviously nowadays there's like vegan leather out there and whatnot. So I just Googled how to actually turn organic waste into some sort of material with like the products you have at home. So I heard that you'd need honey and like cornstarch for it to add into the organic waste for some sort of a bonding agent, to hold the bits together when you go and flatten it and then oven it and dry it. So that's what I've done. It's just the first try I could show you. Hold on. Yeah, so I flattened it. It comes, actually it smells nice, but it's a mix of apples, spinach, and ginger. So I don't know if you can see that you got some apple skin there, then you got the spinach bits, and then the fibers of the fruits and vegetables. I mean, it's malleable. Oh, it's brittle right now because it's my first try making it, so I still need to play with the ratio of like the honey and the cornstarch. But it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, the textures, if you can see, I mean, the color isn't too pleasing because it kind of looks moldy, but that's because of the spinach. So perhaps adjusting what you add. So like, I could remove spinach and then the green color will be removed and it will be more of the apple core color, or even a hint of yellow from the ginger. Yeah. And yeah, so basically I try to create the keys to greatness with it, just to test out if you can actually sew it. Oh, but yeah, you can, as you can see. But yeah, man, this is quite interesting because obviously there's a lot of organic waste in the world with the way we approach the food industry. So if we can, I mean, it's already out there, vegan leather and whatnot, but just being able to create it at home and experiment, I think it's a good move, especially when Galanacci is all about, or the way I've approached Galanacci is using what you have to innovate, and this is one of the cases, because I've always wanted to create like materials that aren't really out there. I mean, this is probably the first of having apple, spinach, and ginger turned into some sort of material. But yeah, I think this is dope. But yeah, there's still a lot of experimentations to be done, because if I bend it a little too much, it is still quite brittle. You can hear. But I mean, the fibers kind of hold up. That would be because of the honey that I put, so it binded the materials together. But yeah, it's a little experiment I did this week, which I tied into the brand, because obviously it's all about innovating with what you have. But yeah, that's dope. So I'll be working on that a little further, see if I can develop it more. And yeah, man, basically I forgot to mention at the end of these episodes I'll be answering questions, but last episode no one left a question, so it's just a reminder. For the next episode, drop your questions below in the comment section. It could be anything about brand building, running a brand, creating a luxury human wear brand, from design philosophies to just whatever. Really, could ask me personal questions or whatnot, just anything relating to what I'm doing currently. But yeah, since no one left a question, we'll sort of focus on the blog post that I did this week, and it was about why Pioneers of Greatness. So Pioneers of Greatness is our tagline for Galanacci. It basically sums up what the brand is about. Pioneers, being a pioneer of greatness. But yeah, the origin of this tagline is way before the whole conception of the brand. I knew that I wanted to, if I was going to start a brand, I wanted it to have a purpose. That was like the main thing about it. It wasn't about like, oh, I'm gonna make money, gonna do this, gonna do that. It's because what I've realized is having purpose, that's what drives you to go further. Because if it's just about making money, this and that, once you make the money, what then, you know? So having true purpose beyond financial and physical, you know. So for me, it was originally, it wasn't actually Pioneers of Greatness, it was create and motivate. So some of you guys actually have, whoever supported from the very beginning and copped the greatness tee back in 2021, up until a certain period, we had the label of, it would have like Galanacci in the Montserrat font, and then right below it would be create and motivate. So that used to be the tagline for Galanacci. But then obviously, as the brand matured and as I matured, I decided to evolve it into Pioneers of Greatness. And the story behind the first tagline, create and motivate, that was a play on Nipsey Hussle's Hustle and Motivate. Because back then I was really listening to Nipsey Hussle, and that song to me stood out. And the whole mindset of, you know, hustle and motivate, like the whole purpose of him hustling is to then inspire others to do something similar, to find their own hustle, you know, in a way. So then I was like, you know what, let me do create and motivate, because I was already creating back then, and then I also wanted to inspire others to do the same. But then obviously it matured to Pioneers of Greatness, and then that Pioneers of Greatness is actually links back to the greatness poem. It's rooted in the greatness poem. It sums up what the greatness poem is about. And the greatness poem is the brand's manifesto. And it's also the first design that was on the first graphic tee of Galanacci. So we had it at the back. Oh, actually, I'm wearing this is the third iteration of it. So I had the greatness poem at the back, as you can see. And that's just like the brand's manifesto. Explores the highs and lows of the journey towards greatness. I've already covered this in the previous episode, so I'm not going to go in too much detail. But yeah, if you must have been like episode 2 or 3, just look back at it to understand the whole idea behind the greatness poem. But yeah, the whole reason why I chose the plural word of pioneers is because I imagine this community of people where they're all sort of pioneering their own definition of greatness. So for me, it's through art, design, fashion, and boxing. That's my sort of definition of greatness. It's emptying myself of my creative potential through these outlets that I've mentioned. And for someone, it could be different. It could be, you know, being the best, I don't know, husband, brother, employee, like whatever it is. Like, each person has a definition that is specific to them. And I wanted to cultivate that with this brand. That's why I called it Pioneers of Greatness. So it's cultivating this community who have a shared vision, who wants to be great in whatever they do, whatever it may be. So it basically then, it's all about inclusivity and individuality, because obviously not one of us is the same. We all have different interests. We all have different paths in life, but we're all moving towards a shared vision of greatness. And it's not just like a tagline, really. It's a way of life. It's a way of seeing life. But yeah, man, that's how I see and why I chose Pioneers of Greatness, and that will stick for as long as it will. That's it from me. Peace.